even if Iran obeys the deal, Iran is going to be a nuclear weapon state in just 10 years. I think we have to assume that they will cheat on the deal, though, and the inspection and verification and enforcement mechanisms, I believe, are too weak to do so.
Senator Tom Cotton on NBC's Meet the Press expressing concerns that Iran may double-cross the United States. And his concerns come as Iran's leading Ayatollah says this deal will not alter his nation's antagonism toward the United States or Israel.
And while Congress has 60 days to review the plan, a vote today at the United Nations makes the deal international law. So does this mean we're stuck with a deal, possibly a bad one?
Joining us for more from Newsmax Washington, Ali Safavi, U.S. spokesman for the National Council of Resistance of Iran and president of the Near East Policy Research Institute. Ali, we thank you for your time here on Newsmax Prime. The UN Security Council this morning unanimously endorsing this nuclear agreement. The sanctions are going to be lifted. How much money do you think Iran will get, and how quickly will they get it?
Well, first of all, good evening, JD and Miranda, and thank you for having me on the show. As it has been reported, upwards of about $150 billion worth of cash will be provided to the coffers of the Iranian regime, and there's no question that most of this money will be used to fund terrorist groups in the region, prop up Bashar al-Assad's criminal regime in Syria, help the Houthis in Yemen, fund and provide missiles to the Hezbollah, and of course train and equip the Shiite militias in Iraq. And of course, this is a very, very dangerous scenario. It's in effect a recipe for disaster when it comes to the stability of the region.
Ali, the president suggested the alternative to rejecting a deal could lead to force, possibly war. Do you agree with what he said, or is this just a scare tactic to get us to pass this deal?
Well, this is obviously a very false narrative. The option for Iran is not either bombing Iran or letting Iran having the bomb. There is a third option, and that is, of course, bringing about democratic change in Iran by relying on the Iranian people and, of course, on the Iranian organized opposition. Recall that the overwhelming majority of Iranians detest this regime. Even after this deal was signed, people who did come out to the streets of Iran, and of course the mullahs muzzled it quite quickly, they were chanting free political prisoners. So there's no love lost between the Iranian people and this regime, and quite frankly, we think that instead of enabling the mullahs, instead of allowing their nuclear infrastructure intact, and of course in 10 years' time, they're going to be a nuclear armed state, the administration should reach out to the Iranian people to enable them to realize their long oppressed desire for freedom and democracy.
Ali, Senator John McCain and others are very concerned that this agreement will end up nuclearizing the Middle East, that Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and everyone else will try to get nukes. Do you agree with that?
Well, quite frankly, given the nature of the regime in Iran, which has been wreaking havoc in the Middle East for the past 36 years, other countries in the region are justifiably very concerned, although I would say that in many respects, this would be the minimum fallout of Iran going nuclear. If the Iranian regime does, in fact, get its hands on a nuclear weapon, I think it's going to be a rogue state. It's going to dominate the Middle East region for many, many, many decades to come. So you're not talking about, let's say, a deterrent balance of power between Pakistan and India. You have a regime in Tehran, which, as Khamenei himself said on Saturday, is going to continue to support and fund and provide the weapons to their friends in the region. And of course, its constitution calls for the creation of an Islamic empire. So in that respect,
Ali,
the idea that they would get their weapons would be quite dangerous.
Right. In the 90 seconds or less that we have remaining, there is a humanitarian crisis going on in Camp Liberty for nearly a week now. Iraqi forces blocked food from entering the camp, but according to reports, some food is now being allowed to enter the camp. What is the very latest in Camp Liberty that you can tell us right now? 20 seconds.
Yes, as you noted, of course, thanks to a great deal of pressure brought to bear upon the Iraqi government, especially by members of Congress who wrote to John Kerry. Some food and fuel has been allowed into the camp, but again, even this issue of Camp Liberty and these Iranian dissidents, who, by the way, were the ones who revealed Iran's nuclear weapons program many years ago, of course, are under enormous threat. And with this deal, we feel and we're concerned that the Iranian regime is emboldened. And of course, one of its primary targets would be the people at Camp Liberty, who basically are the nucleus of Iran's organized opposition. And we think that the pressure must be kept on the Abadi government to stop the siege at Camp Liberty.
We will have to leave it there, Ali Safavi. We thank you. We will keep an eye on this and this ongoing path toward the agreement. There's more ahead here on Newsmax Prime. Stay with us.